New Zealand's vast country landscape enables it to be an ideal location for sprawling American westerns, even more so than present-day USA. Its numerous mountain ranges, grand open fields, and intricate river systems allow filmmakers to hone in western sensibilities. While Eastwood's spaghetti westerns depict a very specific style in the western film genre, modern westerns opt for a greener and more diverse climate landscape, as was also present in the cowboy era throughout the United States. Jane Campion's 2021 film The Power of the Dog is the most recent example of this. Filmed in the Otago countryside, the film is set in 1920s Montana, and despite it being her homeland, Campion was not the first one pushing to shoot in New Zealand. In an interview with Screen International, Campion clarifies this further, saying, "I went to Montana to scout, but it was very hard to find the Montana of 1925. We knew we'd have to build a lot there, so it was going to be expensive. We did some recce's in New Zealand and compared that to our location search in Montana. We even showed our location scout in Montana some photos from New Zealand, asked him where they were in Montana, and he'd say, oh, just a bit further south." A quote from Campion tells us that New Zealand has the same characteristics as rural Montana. However, rural Otago is more sparsely populated than the US state, has more open land, and for their convenience is devoid of wild predators. The landscape of Otago complemented the film greatly, not only in the overall visual aesthetic but also narratively, with one scene utilising a casting shadow of a wolf on the nearby mountain range. For Campion, shooting in New Zealand was more financially suitable as a shooting location than Montana was. Over half of the cast were New Zealand actors, and the crew consisted of more than 300 people from the country too. This created jobs in the New Zealand film industry and added economic growth, meaning that films similar to The Power of the Dog may be more frequent in the future of New Zealand film. Slow West, the 2015 film by Scottish director John McLean, is a less talked about film in comparison to The Power of the Dog, but takes full advantage of its New Zealand location all the same. Set in early 19th century Colorado, the film was shot in Twizel and the surrounding Mount Cook area. The fact that the real filming location of Slow West was New Zealand, and that the film makes this different geographical location evident, adds to the film narratively, in the sense of Silas, the main character's wandering nature, of a life on the move to escape locally based control, as said by Martina Matasova in Displacement of the Western. The landscape in Colorado is extremely similar to that of Mount Cook area, snow-capped peaks, colourful greenery, and lakes bright blue from the nearby glaciers. But the decision to shoot in this area did not come from McLean himself, but instead a cinematographer, Robbie Ryan, who shot an ad recently in the Mackenzie district, and exclaimed how it was the perfect location for the film. And so it was, fitting the film in its style perfectly, and further solidifying New Zealand as a model location for this genre. Both of these films exemplify the potential that New Zealand has for international locations. Western and period dramas can especially benefit from the landscape New Zealand offers. The remoteness of the country's rural areas adds to the historical context of these stories. And while productions like Narnia and the Lord of the Rings trilogy put New Zealand on the map for fantasy locations, Slow West and The Power of the Dog indicate a potential shift in productions moving to the country for Western films and allowing their stories to truly flourish.